individual with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Moran is here, Mr. Budny,
Present.
Mr. Anderson, Ms. Chelsor, Ms. Busak is excused, Mr. Ranley,
Present.
Mr. Gergley,
Yes.
Ms. Karn is excused, and Mr. Jacobson.
Present.
The next item is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I don't think so, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as shown.
I support.
Motion by Jim, supported by Brad, to approve the agenda as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. And because this is our first televised Downtown Development Authority meeting, I thought I would take a few minutes and do a little explanation of what the DDA is and what some of our goals and objectives are. And this comes right out of our last development plan that was approved in 2012. It reads, the enabling ordinance by which the Township Board of the Township of Grosse Ile created a Downtown Development Authority, which is commonly known as the DDA, is ordinance number 189, which was adopted on July 27th, 1992. The ordinance authorizes the creation of the DDA and sets forth the district boundaries within which the authority has jurisdiction. In compliance with PA 197 of 1975 and the enabling ordinance, the Township Board has appointed a Downtown Development Authority Board as the managing entity for the development and financing activities within the district. It is the purpose of the development plan and the tax increment finance plan as established by a legal basis for the capture and the expenditure of tax instrument revenues in accordance with PA 197 of 1975 as amended, for the purpose of stimulating and encouraging private investment in specific development areas through the provision of public improvements. The Downtown Development Authority District in general includes the commercial area on the north and south sides of Macomb Street between East River and Meridian, with the exception of a few parcels. The boundary of the DDA also extends to include the property along the south side of Gray's Drive between East River and Meridian. The development plan and the tax increment finance plan are two separate plans as required by the Act 197. The plan is created to implement projects that are designated to meet certain goals and established for the downtown development area of the Township of Grosse Ile. And I'll just read some of the goals because there are a number of them and don't want to take the time to read them all. But I do think that these are on our website, Ross, if anybody wants to be able to read all of the goals. Improve the downtown area through effective planning and implementation of public improvement projects, including public park areas, pocket parks, and other essential public improvements. To promote and coordinate activities aimed at improving the business climate within the district. Foster development, redevelopment, and expansion within the downtown district, thus creating new employment and business opportunities. Establish a defined, attractive, and distinctive character for the downtown area. Provide usable, pedestrian-oriented open spaces to complement the existing and future developments within the district. Assist in providing the public improvements needed to attract private investment. Continue the township's commitment for providing appropriate recreational opportunities by developing pedestrian-oriented pocket parks within the district. Eliminate sources of blight such as sign disrepair, sign clutter, poor property maintenance practices, and inappropriate land uses. Encourage a high standard of property maintenance on both private and public property. Provide a DDA organization that unifies the owners and operators of businesses in the downtown area and fosters a spirit of cooperation. use the DDA as an interface between the township and the business community in which to develop solutions to mutual concerns. And last, improve the overall quality of life within the township in innovative ways that are beneficial to all facets of the community. And just would like to remind that the DDA collects a certain amount of tax income, but it needs to be spent within that district. So we cannot spend our money outside of the Downtown Development Authority District, which basically is along Macomb. So with that, I will get back to our regular agenda, which the next item on the agenda is the approval of the February 23rd, 2023 minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read the minutes, and if anybody has any questions, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Support by Jerry to approve the minutes of February 23rd, 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our financial update. It's the approval of the February 2023 financial report, and that was included in your packet, so hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through that. And Ross, is there anything unusual that you'd like to point out about the financial report?
Nothing that I see, no.
Anyone has any comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Brad, supported by Jim to approve the financial report for February 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Our next item is our action items, which the first item on the agenda is to approve a contract for Camilo Pardo in the amount of $15,000 for Art on the Aisle mural. And again, for those that are new to the Downtown Development Authority, last year we started a project that was called Art on the Aisle with the intent that we would install some sculptures and some murals along Macomb Street. Last year, we were able to do 2 of those murals and 6 sculptures, and we're going to continue that program again this summer. And we have lined up 3 muralists that have experience, and their resumes have indicated that they've done murals not only all over the country, but all over the world. So I think we are fortunate to be able to secure these 3 muralists to do 3 new murals on Macomb Street. And Ross, if I'm not mistaken, one is going to go on the side of the hardware store,
Yep.
one on the side of Zupke, and the third one at Lloyd's.
Lloyd's, yep.
Correct?
So Camilo Pardo, who designed the Ford GT40, will be on the side of the hardware store. Beau Stanton, he does nautical art, and he's based out of Brooklyn. And that will be, we're hoping on Zupke's building. We haven't approved that contract, but we are working on that one. And then Jesse Kassel, he's a Detroit-based artist, and he'll be painting a map of Grosse Ile, which will go on Lloyd's. So,
On the Kroger side, facing the.
yeah, so facing
Facing west.
Meridian. Yep. So it'll pair nicely with Michelle Tanguay's mural right there on Ever Cleaners.
Ross, what did you say wasn't finalized yet?
Zupke's. He has the contract. We're just waiting to hear back.
You just don't have the sign.
We just don't have a sign, so we can't definitively say.
So do we want to vote on give an artist a contract when we don't have a place to put it yet?
That's up to the board.
Well, Jim, I think, in order for him to do anything, we've got to cut him a check for $1,000, because the first part of what he does is start
Well,
to
I think
sketch it up.
yeah.
And we just wouldn't make that payment until we had that locked in.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, that's,
Stick with the
if we
artist,
sign a contract, we're gonna be, you sign a contract, and it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse here. You don't have a place for him to do it. I mean, not that I don't think we will attain this,
Right.
but we should kind of do that with, I think, when we get the the place to put it.
I
Because
think-
if it falls through for some reason, now where are we going?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're okay to approve these contracts. We just won't sign them until we have that locked in.
Okay,
And the other thing I'd like to mention is because our muralist consultant, we were able to line up all three of these mural artists at a reduced price because she has a relationship with all three of these, and because of that, we were able to get known artists at a reduced cost. So the first item is to approve the contract for Camilo Pardo in the amount of $15,000 for art on the aisle mural.
I'll support that motion.
Got a motion by Jim,
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
support by Brett. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is to approve a contract for Beau Stanton in the amount of $10,000 for the art on the aisle mural.
I'll make the motion to approve Beau Stanton's contract for $10,000.
I support.
Motion by Jim, supported by Brad, to approve Beau Stanton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. And the third item is the approval of the contract for Jesse Kassel in the amount of $7,000 for the art on the aisle mural.
I'll make the motion to approve Jesse Kassel's.
Motion by Jim, supported by Brett, to approve Jesse Kassel. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item, action item is item number 4, which is to approve the 2023-2024 DDA meeting dates. And everyone should have that, it was included in our packet, that we meet on the 4th Thursday of the month. And, depending on what happens in December, Ross and the board, we may cancel that meeting or move it to a different, just because it's during the holidays, but we'll get it on a calendar, and who knows, we may have some reason that we have to meet or whatever, so. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Thanksgiving on the 30th? It's usually not that late, right? It's the 23rd?
Yeah,
I meant to look that
yeah.
up, and I forgot to
I
do
actually
that.
think that is. Hang on. Let's see here. November 23rd is Thanksgiving.
Okay, so it's the week
Well,
after.
and that, again, this is a tentative schedule. The meetings can be moved or canceled, so. Don't worry, you're not probably going to be meeting
I'll be
on
here.
things.
I'll be here.
Well, then, in that case, bring pie.
I'll bring the turkey, yeah. Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Brad, supported by Jim, to approve the 2023-2024 DDA meeting dates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Our discussion items. Item number 1 is the merchant meeting presentation and survey material. Ross?
Yeah, so as you all know, we have a merchant meeting on April 13th at the VFW. I just kind of wanted to give a brief overview of the presentation that I have prepared for you and the business owners for that date. It's not finalized by any means. It's sort of just placeholders for now. So, and for those at home, this is all available on our website at grosseildda.com. So you can kind of look this over. But flipping through, so first we'll start by giving the agenda for everyone when they get there. On page 2, I'll kind of go over our mission, sort of what Ron did to start off this meeting. I'll kind of give a brief overview of who we are, what we do. And then the next page, I'll explain how we do that, or what we've done. So explain some of the infrastructure projects that we've done. The main one is the Macomb Street expansion project. And Ron, today, I feel like you said it was about $5 million we invested into.
If I remember right, I think that's what the bond was that we sold
Yeah.
back then, was in that neighborhood.
Okay. So kind of explain that. And then on the next page, public enhancements, we funded the street lights. We helped fund the the Macomb Commons. Kind of touching up on that, and then what we do currently, we do events. Kind of go over our events and explain what dates they are and what we plan to do for them for this year. And next, explain the business support. We have there the business improvement grant that we have, currently have $10,000 budgeted for this year. And then we also have we'll be giving out the business resource guide that I created, which basically gives them business funding, gives them access to information for business funding, marketing, business resources, and township incentives as well. And then on the next page, we'll kind of briefly touch up on our master plan and the economic enhancement strategy, and touch up on a couple key points there. The next page, talk a little bit about Art on the Isle, what we plan to do with it for this year, give out some dates. And I know Allie, our public art consultant, she wanted to use that opportunity to reach out to businesses who may be interested in sculptures and, get that conversation going with them. Next, talking about the development at Lions Park, all the effort that we've been making, applying for grants, talking about the current master plan process that we're in right now with Wade Trim. The next page, some of our streetscape improvements, the bench and trash receptacles, the banners that we're hanging up. The new banners are going up tomorrow. I talked with DPS. We've had them sitting for quite a while. The weather has not been cooperating, but the spring banners will be going up tomorrow. And then kind of explain how they can help. I have an open door policy for the business owners. Anything, if they have questions, they can call me. They can go to our website. And then we will hand out a survey at the end, which will be this next attachment here. So I have 10 questions for them to answer. I'm not sure if you guys had an opportunity to look over this, if you had any feedback.
I have one comment
Yeah.
on that,
Yeah.
Ross, and I think we should eliminate question number 2 for now.
Yeah.
Because I think, because we're just starting this.
Okay.
I don't think it's, they probably don't know enough to answer that question.
Okay.
So maybe when we do it the next year or the next time, we could add that to it, but
Definitely.
I just don't think they'll know enough about it to be able to answer that.
Gotcha. Okay. And a lot of it's just kind of asking about the events that we hold, whether or not it's helping their business or not, what kind of events they would like to see, how would they like to participate, not only in our events, but with the DDA in general. And that's pretty much all I have for the merchant meeting right now.
Yeah, Ross, it looks like it's going to be a good meeting. I think for the first meeting, the introduction to them, we don't want to overwhelm them with everything, but it gives them a little bit of everything and a good idea of what we want and where we're going. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I think you did a nice job putting that together.
Thank you.
And it's a good overview, and obviously we'd like to get some dialogue going with them on a regular basis, so I think it's a good start. So, anyone else have any comments or questions on the presentation?
Have the invites went out?
I'm sorry?
Have the invites went out?
Yeah, so I've emailed, we have a business list of emails. I've sent out emails, posted on Facebook and Instagram. I just got the flyers that we will be going business to business, handing out flyers about the meeting. We can schedule that up. I know Brett's really pumped about that. But so we're hoping the first week of April, just a week or so before the meeting, kind of put it fresh in their memories, like, hey, it's coming up in a week. We'd like to see you. So
Let's separate those flyers if we're gonna do these.
Yeah.
Sections, so.
Yep.
All right,
Yep, gotcha.
all right, cool.
Okay, we'll move on to our next item under the discussion items, and that is our GI sculpture. And you want me to speak on it, Ross? I can I can just handle this item, is, as you know, we installed a G and an I at Lions Park as part of our sculpture program, and the intent was that at some point we would get the high school involved. The idea is that we would turn it over to the senior class every year and let them pick out a theme and decorate the G and the I as they see fit, with the approval of the DDA and of one of the teachers or the group of teachers that is going to oversee that senior class. And Ross and I had a chance to meet with the assistant principal, Brett Bennett, back in the fall, and kind of went through our thoughts, and had met with him and a couple of their art students. And they wanted time to think about it, and they said that they would get back to us with the intent that they would be doing something in the spring. And a couple weeks ago, we got an email from Brett that said that the senior class is ready to go, and they want to paint the G and the I red and gray. And the idea is that the senior class would paint their handprints on the G and the I. And so that's what they wanted to do for their first go-round with decorating the two letters. And so since we have the right to approve that, it's before us today to give them some feedback whether we agree with that or not. I don't know if their intent is every year then that the new senior class would put their handprints on it, or they would want us to paint it white again and then they would start all over again. But that's to be determined as we have further discussions with the school and the assistant principal. So I know Ross had sent out an email to everybody indicating that this was their preference. Everybody kind of weighed in with a couple comments and questions, but we need to decide whether we're okay with going forward. Personally, I don't have any problem with it. We kind of left it up to them to decide what they wanted to do, and seems like a good idea to me.
I'll just jump in here. I like the idea. I like the idea from a lot of reasons. One, instead of just having 2 or 3 seniors who would be decorating it, you have the whole class able to be involved in it. And if they decide to go forward with it, it is kind of a nice traditional thing that you got your senior class with their handprint up on there. So I like the idea.
Any other comments?
I think it's a good idea.
No objections? Okay. It's not an action item, but I do think we should have it as part of our minutes that we do approve their concept. So we have a record that we did review it and we did approve it. So with that, I'll entertain a motion that we are accepting and agreeing with the proposal that the senior class has proposed to decorate the G and the I.
So moved.
A motion by Jim,
I'll support it.
supported by Brett. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is, under discussion items, is our Island Nights logo. Ross?
Yeah, so in front of you, this is our Island Nights logo. Island Nights, as we have discussed before, will be a third Thursday kind of event along Macomb Street. We're still workshopping exactly how this is going to look. We plan on having food trucks, vendors, having Macomb Street businesses out on the street, or kind of advertising Macomb Street businesses and advertising existing restaurants like Lloyd's, Galindo's, Ume, Sully's, to have specials going on as well, and having music lined up on the street too at each establishment. So, and vendors as well. We're working through it. We still have some time. June, the third Thursday in June will be the first event, and then it'll go June, July, August, September. And each event will be kind of a little bit different. Me and Emily Wellman and myself have been working on this, so and this isn't a final logo. It's sort of a first edition. I just wanted to get your take on what you thought about it. The three, the glass and the truck and the the burger there. That's not part of the logo. The main logo is the Island Knights with the bridge behind it. So
Looks okay to me.
Cool. I mean, without comparing it to other options, yeah, it
right.
looks,
Okay.
fine.
Great.
Yeah, the only, just wish we'd get, maybe that circle, which I don't know if that's supposed to be the moon or the sun, but make it yellow or something instead of the beige that we seem to be, theme we have.
Is that kind of a takeoff of our mural, Ross? Yeah.
Yeah, so the graphic designer that we're working with, who also makes all the banners for us. Oh no, that's not it. She designed this, and she's kind of using our existing art for events and logos and things like that in the future. So,
There's no objections. I think you're going in the right direction, and continue. Okay, we will move on to our next item is the DDA Director's Report, Grant Status Update. Ross?
all right, so I got a few updates. We're going to hear back from T-Mobile by our next meeting regarding funding of the bench and trash receptacles. Next up is the Patronicity Grant with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. We just finished filming our video last week for it, so that when we post it, because it's a fundraising grant, it's good to have some promotional video up on there. So working with Allie and Michelle on that. And then Ron and I had met with the Community Foundation with Ralph C. Wilson, so we are seeking various different outlets to try to get some funding here. So just want to communicate that.
And we have already submitted to Wayne County
Yep.
to get some money that they've set aside out of their COVID money. And just recently, they have approved a grant for the city of Southgate for $5 million and the city of Dearborn for $10 million. So they seem to have a lot of money, and hopefully we can get our fair share. And
Yep.
we'll hopefully count on our county commissioner, Mr. Palomera, to help us lobby and approve at least some part of what we've been requesting. So I feel pretty good about that, but I'm sure there's other communities that are competing for money as well. So.
Yep. And then the next item is the pre-bid for the foundations and bench trash receptacles. We just got those back today. So those should be poured by I believe it's the end of July. We should have those new bench and trash receptacles in there. So
It wasn't a pre-bid today, it was the opening of the bid.
So before, we had a pre-bid prior to the bid about a week ago, and today was the bid. So this agenda was published before the bid today. So it's breaking news, I guess.
And just to follow up, another part of that is Ross and I are working with Wade Trim to help figure out the right locations for those benches, because they should be spread out somewhat evenly along the street on both sides of the street, and right now they're not that way. And so we've enlisted their help in helping identify the right locations for that, and they've given Ross and I a preliminary location for them, but we need to have further discussion, and I think we're trying to set up another meeting for next Friday to really get into the locations of that. And there is some challenges because some of the locations will be on private property, and therefore we're going to need to make sure that the property owners are okay with it, unless it's already an existing location, where we already have a bench. So Still more work to come, but the intent is that sometime this summer we'll get those all installed, so.
We're gonna use the same type of bench at the park when we do the park.
Yes. Yep. That is the intent. So. Does anybody else have any questions on the bench or the trash receptacles?
I'd just say that if we run across that, we probably can use the same agreement that we had for foundations for sculptures. I mean, obviously modify it for the bench, but the agreement would be right there.
Yeah, I'll get with our attorney on that just to double check to make sure that we're good with that contract, so.
The next item on our agenda is the chairman's report. I have nothing other than what has already been discussed tonight. So the next item, I will open it up to public comment. If you'd like to give us your name and address, please.
Kevin Flavin, Park Lane. I have to say this is fantastic that I know this is not the cozy room that you have used in the past, but this is great for Grosse Ile. I think it's great for the DDA, and congratulations to and thank you to the DDA, and particularly to Ross Cuero, who has done a lot of work to put all this information together. The new website is very attractive. It's user-friendly, and I appreciate that this is the first televised board meeting, and Ross, thank you for making it a reality, and the board. There's a lot of good information on the website about what's happening on Macomb Street, and I think that the Islanders will also appreciate the full agenda packet. It's really a very, very positive, and I think it's good for business, and I think it's good for the island. So nice work to all, and particularly Ross. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, our next item is to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Jim, support by Brett to adjourn at 7:03. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.